everyone, and I'm here together with Shu, Zed, Bobby, and Cabo, and we are proudly presenting you our design for a survival-friendly squid farm. You can already see it down here. And by the way, Shu and Zed are the winners of the server quiz, and yeah, so they are invited to help us building stuff, and so we build this together, and we'll now quickly show you how the farm is working and then do a step-by-step tutorial on how to build this in survival. And I tell you, it's not that difficult. I guess even for one person the total amount of work to build is, if you have the resources for this, is around 5 hours. But you need an iron farm, or you need a lot of iron resources, because you need a lot of hoppers for the farm. But let's first just check how the farm is working. You can already see a lot of squids are always in the farm, and what happens is they are spawning in this water pool here, and there is a water current always dragging them down into the lava here. And below the lava there's a layer of half slabs, and below that half slab layer there's a layer of hoppers. And the squids actually die while they are on top of the half slab, and the hoppers immediately suck out the items before they could eventually go into the lava. And therefore you have a very easy and quick to build setup. It doesn't take up too much space and is still 100% efficient. And at the end, we can collect the squids, the ink sacs. They actually automatically collect in the chest over here. And yeah, obviously the whole farm design is made for the snapshots. So we are currently playing in 13W 2B, and therefore we actually can play around with the hoppers as well. But therefore we are also looking forward to the next snapshot to build this in survival as well, of course. Yeah, so the farm, as you can see here, is producing a lot of ink sacs, around 3000 per hour, or almost 1 ink sac per second actually on average. Yeah, which is pretty nice, and you see also stacks are arriving. And just how are we getting them? Over here you can already hear a dispenser. There's an array of hoppers below, as I told you, and they are all just connected to a single dispenser here in the center, and this one has a comparator at the side, which loops back into the dispenser itself, which simply, as soon as there's any item in it, and that's where I had the stack of lime wool to test it, will constantly fire till it runs out again. So this just simply keeps the dispenser empty at all times. And we just save on a lot of hoppers which we would otherwise have placed in the stream here. And also it looks pretty cool if you can directly see any ink sacs incoming. Yeah, so let's actually start building up this farm. Okay, so welcome to the tutorial part. The first step for building a squid farm is to dig out a hole, and in this tutorial we decided to make the hole 20 by 20 blocks. You can also make it up to 30 by 30. Larger doesn't actually make sense because the squids will already be at the mob cap, so it doesn't increase the spawning rate. And you have to dig it down to level 55 exactly. You can also make it to level 56 if you on the other hand have the farm wider, but 55 should be the perfect height for this size here, so 20 by 20 blocks. And then you also need to get rid of all the water sources between level 45 and 63, which means we just filled them all in with red wool blocks here. And actually it is not that much to fill in, so it took us with 3 persons 20 minutes to fill all these lakes in. I will later provide you with the exact number of blocks we did use to take up to fill these lakes in. I guess it's around a chest of wool, but you obviously could also use cobblestone or dirt or anything you have just enough of. And also you should of course check the area with X-ray devices if there are any water lakes between level 45 and 63. So in our case there were like 3 water lakes in the underground as well, but most of them are at the top, and so very easy to spot and also very easy to fill in. Just make sure that there's no ocean anywhere near your farm, otherwise you're gonna have to fill in a lot of water. But this is not so difficult. I guess even one person could do this in less than 2 hours filling in the water. And yeah, so this is the first step. Let's just continue. after you finish digging the hole, the next layer is just a layer of hoppers. And yeah, in this case, we do have 20 by 20 hoppers, so in total 400 hoppers or 2000 iron, which is around 3.5 stacks of iron blocks. So it actually needs quite a lot of hoppers in this case, but this is just by far the simplest method to build a farm. And if you have an iron farm, you should be not having any trouble with getting 3.5 stacks of iron blocks, hopefully. And for the layout of the hoppers, all the hoppers, beside the ones where there is glass above, are facing in direction F1 in this case, so they are all facing towards the chest, and the ones at the side here are facing just inward. And it actually doesn't matter how you align them, just make sure that there's no loop in between somehow, and that they all just go to the collection point. Later on we will build a little stream which transports them out a little further. And first we will build up the farm itself, I think. So let's do this. The next step will be just to place a layer of half slabs above the hoppers. Let's go. So after you place the half slabs, the next step is to place these pillars here, and the pattern here is just a perfect pattern to have a pillar at the side of each free spot where there will be later on the water and the lava. So yeah, to build up this pattern is actually pretty simple. Just start with one of these blocks, go 2 blocks in one direction and only 1 to the other direction, and just keep building those diagonals. And each of them is, as you can see, 4 blocks apart, so there are 4 blocks in between. And then fill up the room with this pattern here. So we made them 2 highs, those pillars. The next step is to fill a lava in between. So just place the lava sources. Will take you some buckets and some trips to the nether, but it should be not too much of a problem. It doesn't matter if the lava is flowing or not, just make sure that there's a lava at each spot between the pillars. And once you've done that, the next step is to place signs above the lava against each of the pillars. So let's do this. The next step after you placed all these signs against the pillars is we need a layer of temporal blocks. So in this case we're just using dirt to demonstrate this at level 63. So you can now see my Y coordinate is 63, and this will be well, I wouldn't place those blocks yet, to flood the whole area here with water. So once you place them, you can just place water buckets in the diagonal, just through the diagonal, and then you will have a solid layer of water here. And after that you remove the dirt, so you save on just transporting water buckets all over the place all the time, which is probably actually quicker than trying to place them directly. So once you're done with this, just place some water on the side here. And it all fills it up. Now you can remove the dirt layer again. Obviously we recommend respiration for this, and start building up the pillars to the height of the top here. You can, yeah, we recommend to just build them out so that they stick out of the water, or leave them at this height. It actually doesn't matter, but if they stick out, you should place a half slit maybe on top to prevent any hostile mobs from spawning on top of the pillars. So let's do this. Okay, we now just placed the pillars here and also removed the dirt. We actually think it might also probably be faster to first build up the pillars actually. So sorry if you already started it. And to this height, then place the dirt, place the water, and only remove the dirt, so you save on pillaring up while there is water all around you. And just to remember, why is it actually necessary to have these pillars? The water, since there's only a water source at the top, there's actually a downward going water stream, but this is only pulling you down if there is a solid or any kind of block adjacent to the water current. So if we would remove one of the pillars here, let me quickly demonstrate this. I'm removing this one, and in the center here I'm not getting pulled down, only at the side of another pillar, just right here. So, and it's the same for the squids. So to actually drag them down into the lava, you need those pillars, and this is just the pattern where you have the least pillars and still every block connected to, or every water source adjacent to one of the pillars. And that's why you need to build this pattern here. And actually, the squid farm is pretty much already done now. You just need to build a little collection system at the end, and then we can already test it. So let's go. Okay, and we now finished the last part, and that is a water stream which is going off from the squid farm and to over here, and I will quickly show you how I did the dispenser setup. And here is the end. We just made a little room with a ladder here, and currently all the ink sacs get collected to the chest here, and you already see we're getting a lot of them. We're waiting while we're building this, and you see ink sacs constantly coming in. And with a 5-minute test, I exactly got an amount of 3,000 ink sacs per hour. So this is almost an ink sac per second actually, a little bit less. And if you increase the size to around 30 by 30 instead of 20 by 20 blocks, you will be actually at pretty much the mob cap limit. And this will give you up to 6,000 ink sacs per hour. And if anyone needs that amount of ink sacs, yeah, you can simply increase this a little bit. If not, this size is totally OP for a normal survival. But anyway, so before we check this out from the top again, let's quickly show what I built here. So, those hoppers all connected to 2 spots. On one of them I just placed another hopper, which goes into this dispenser here. And currently none of them is spawning because I'm too close. And yeah, they just all fill up the dispenser. And the dispenser is just with a comparator hooked up to itself. And the important part is that the last block here is a comparator. So what this does is it constantly updates the dispenser when it's powered. So if I put anything here like a stack of green wool, it will automatically fire till the stack runs out. And the same happens to every ink sac which is in there. And why do we not want to have a constant a hopper chain here? Simply to save on some iron, and also it looks much better if you have the hoppers actually visible floating around there. And as I said, it saves a lot of iron, so I think this is pretty cool. For the water streams here, in case you don't know it yet, there must be ice below, or it has to be, but it has to be ice below the half slabs here, otherwise the items will get stuck below them, so you need a silk touch pickaxe. In case you don't have one, you can also just drop the items by 1 meter every 8 meters and just, well, the end will be 3 meters below this, but that doesn't really matter. And yeah, we used an upside down slab because the items easily can pass below it. You can also use a sign. And yeah, the rest is self-explanatory. So let's take a last look at the farm and at everything from the top. And also big props to everyone who helped me with building here. This is CaboPC, Wooby, and those are the 2 server quiz winners. Hi guys. And yeah, so they are now just helping us with projects as well. And yeah, so they did with this project here. So yeah, gratefully that they did this. And here you can see the farm from the top. You see squids are spawning in there. If you come closer, you can already see they are getting sucked down into the lava pit here. They have no chance against fighting against the currents for too long. They die, and the hoppers immediately suck out the items before they could eventually get destroyed by the lava. And so in total, this is a very simple to build farm compared with other farms like mob traps, because it's relatively small. You don't need to light up any caves. You don't need to go out to an ocean. You just have to get rid of some of the lava lakes, water lakes, but there are just a few around your area. Actually, this area had more lava and more lakes than usual, I think. So I would say if you build this in single player, the total build-up time is around 5 hours maybe. If you do this in multiplayer, you can divide it by the number of players you are helping. So this is definitely possible. Even if you are low in resources, you only need a lot of iron for the hoppers. So you usually need an iron farm. So this is still an advanced farm for the players who have an iron farm. And if you don't know yet how to build an iron farm, I will link you to some tutorials in the description. So I think that's it all. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.